The thing to remember is that the winter can throw all these bugs and illnesses at you anyway. And actually the main cause of problems with the voice is inflammation and irritation to the tiny little vocal folds which sit inside your voice box. In order to try and stop that inflammation and irritation, there are lots of things you can do to keep your body on track. First thing is to drink really well. And I say drink well because it involves hydrating so that you are drinking enough during the day, but also considering what else you're drinking around that. So caffeine is a diuretic. So if you're drinking lots of caffeine, it just means that the fluid's going straight through you and out at the bottom end. Alcohol is very drying. So it's about finding a balance, making sure you're staying hydrated through looking at everything you're drinking and making sure you're drinking enough water and clear fluids through a day as well. The other things involve eating well, trying to avoid triggers for reflux, acid indigestion and reflux, because the acid can come up from your tummy and come up into your voice box and cause inflammation and irritation that way. That may well be that certain foods cause acid indigestion and reflux, or it might actually be that you've eaten really close to the time when you go to bed and are lying down, and the acid can trickle into your voice box and cause some inflammation in that way. So eating a balanced diet can actually help to eliminate that and mitigate for reflux. Making sure that you exercise is really important because it gets the oxygen coming into your bloodstream, making sure that you're using your lungs and keeping all your muscles fit and healthy and energized and activated as well. Really importantly is finding time to sleep well as well, because a well-rested body has time for cell regeneration, and everything can heal while you're sleeping. Rest and recuperate. And I think people have maybe quite a high anxiety level at the moment because of what's going on nationally. So finding time to just kick back, rest, recover, and sleep is really important. Treating things which cause irritation anyway, so things like allergies, hay fever, any other allergic reactions that you may have, just making sure they are treated so that the inflammation is dealt with, but also understanding that any medications you might have for those allergies may in themselves cause drying, so they may actually dry out your voice. So it's trying to just be aware of what might happen, and again, balancing everything else to try and compensate for that. Try not to smoke. That's a huge one, because when you're inhaling anything, you're inhaling through your mouth and over your vocal folds, these little tiny vocal folds, and drying them out. And actually smoke and vaping and all those types of things have substances, chemicals within the smoke which can really dry and irritate the vocal folds, which means they can't vibrate as they would want to. And you might end up with a more creaky voice, you might lose some of your pitch range, and generally your voice will be more difficult to control, and you may even find it fatigues quite quickly and becomes worse with use. And the last thing to think of is the environment that you're using your voice in as well. So environments with air conditioning can be really drying again on the vocal folds. So looking after everything about you, drinking well, eating well, exercising, sleeping well, treating those allergies, don't smoke, and think about where you're using your voice.